In my Dr. Strangelove review, I identified this film, somewhat controversially, as one that does a poor job of satirizing, then eventually demeans, a very serious scenario. Gareth Jennings' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is guilty, alas, of this precise error, but does so with far less narrative or technical precision. Martin Freeman stars as bumbling hero Arthur Dent, a hapless Brit who must defend his home from a team of impatient bulldozers. Hastily debriefed by his alien friend, Ford Prefect, played by Mos Def, Arthur learns that the Earth is to be demolished for the sake of a new interstellar bypass. Narrowly escaping the world's destruction and welcomed aboard the Heart of Gold starship, Arthur and Ford are whisked from planet to planet in search of answers to life, the universe, and everything. Now, the destruction of the Earth is a plot point of the Hitchhiker series that I've never quite been able to accept. The Vogons, however slimy and comically dim-witted they may be, have just murdered 6 billion people in order to complete a roadway. Arthur Dent and the perky Trillian, Zooey Deschanel, are now the 2 remaining humans in existence. This situation should arouse shock, fear, and outrage, and it takes a very talented storyteller to transmute these reactions into comedy. In this sense, I don't believe that director Jennings, or even original author Douglas Adams, have truly succeeded. For one, none of these characters act appropriately. Freeman, as Arthur Dent, appears simply dazed and befuddled for most of the film. I liked his character, as he is mild-mannered, down-to-earth, and decisive. But his shell-shocked, somewhat indifferent air cast the illusion of him not caring about the demolition of Earth, or his many adventures. And if he doesn't care, why should we? Mos Def mumbles his own way through much of the Hitchhiker's Guide, functioning as little more than a level-headed friend and foil to Sam Rockwell's Zaphod Beeblebrox. Zaphod, for that matter, is a manic, egocentric nut who I could never take seriously. Not one of these uneven personalities spares a moment of sadness for the Earth's passing, and therefore appears shallow and unmotivated. Zooey Deschanel is, thankfully, the exception to this rule, as she remains ignorant of the Earth's demolition until the film's final third. Bright, pretty, and genuine, Deschanel skillfully balances the wonder of her new spacefaring life with the sheer annoyance of living with Zaphod. The talented Deschanel easily offers the most pleasant and engaging performance of the film. Many much-loved British celebrities lend their talents among the supporting cast, of whom Alan Rickman stands out as the humorous voice of Marvin the manic-depressive android. Stephen Fry was also at hand for the many interludes interspersed through the action. It should be evident that Fry's quirky voice is ideally suited to reciting entries from the outlandish Hitchhiker's Guide. A good portion of the comic relief in this film proves to be entertaining, particularly a short, absurd insight into the thoughts of a sperm whale. The alien cultures, however, are handled very poorly. It was difficult for me to view these actors as anything other than humans in makeup or exotic outfits. This, as you can imagine, seriously harmed the guide's realism for me. The visual effects of The Hitchhiker's Guide are sleek and realistic, and the music nicely complements the action. But the plotline is, I'm sorry to say, atrociously muddled. The narrative of this film jumps from plot point to plot point without warning, with nothing, save for Arthur, to connect these fragments together. At one point, Zaphod's second head is removed and kept by a vengeful opponent. But this plot point is never revisited, nor is it deemed important from then on. Certain moments of plot advancement, such as the use of hyperdrive coordinates for Magrathea, take place without any explanation whatsoever. We have no idea, as the viewer, of how the crew got these coordinates, for instance. But, in the end, my main qualm with The Hitchhiker's Guide would be its careless destruction of the Earth in its opening act. If this film were written as a standard space adventure, somewhat akin to Doctor Who, with Arthur simply invited on a trip across the galaxy, then I would have viewed this guide as a fun yet unremarkable science fiction film. But instead, director Jennings starts his film with effective Armageddon, then brushes it aside for wacky, poorly plotted escapades. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy definitely has its positive elements, but you need a good amount of effort to create a comedy from genocide. In this respect, I find Garth Jennings' SF comedy to be, regrettably, somewhat of a failure. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Before I sign off, I hope there are no hard feelings among any Hitchhiker fans who might be watching this review. I simply didn't like this movie, or rather, it was not as good as I hoped, and I simply wish to explain why. I look forward to reading all your comments. I probably won't be posting a review for some time, as, well, I'll actually be returning to university on Tuesday. In any case, I'll see you later.